it was her. So you go to her page and you're scrolling and you're looking, and you see posts about her dog and about her family and about her new house, but you don't see any posting about the cake business you thought she was in. So finally, you're just scrolling now because you're kind of just into whatever's going on her page. And like about 3 weeks ago, she posted about a cake, and you're like, okay, so, well, I guess maybe it was her that was doing cakes. And you scroll down, a month, and you see another post about cakes, and you're like, okay, well, she was doing cakes, but she must not be making cakes anymore. So do you think you're probably going to pick her to make your wedding cake? Or do you think that you're going to go with someone who is sharing about their wedding cakes and posting cute pictures of like different wedding cakes or cupcakes that they made? It's probably going to be someone who's a little bit more active and someone that you're sure is still doing that. So that's kind of my little example with consistency. And it's something that I think coaches are really good about in the beginning. And I think as time goes on, you kind of just assume that people know what you're doing and know what Beachbody is about. So you sort of step away from that a little bit. So I just kind of wanted to remind you guys to be consistent. You still have people watching you every day. And you really never know who you're actually reaching or touching that day with your posts. So stay active there. The next part would be about building relationships. And, one thing that I love so much about Beachbody is that our clients aren't just customers for us. They kind of become a part of you hear us say, our fit fam. These are people that we're interacting with like most days. So they become some of your best friends, your closest relationships. And the same thing kind of happens with people who maybe aren't in your groups yet. They're just people that are talking to you or that you're talking to. Who you might be reaching out to with fitness in mind, but you also want to be a part of their life in general. So it isn't just Beachbody, and that's not the only type of relationship that we're building with these people. We're becoming friends with them. And I'm going to use Jenny as an example. I like to do that, and so far she hasn't asked me not to. But, I knew Jenny before Beachbody. She lived in the same condo complex that Mike lived in. So I would see Jenny and Alex, and I knew that Mike was good friends with Jenny and Alex, and we'd wave and we'd say hey. And I popped into their condo one day when I saw her holding Enzo because I wanted to see him. But we weren't, best friends, and I wouldn't say that we really knew each other, but through our challenge groups, Jenny's really become one of my best friends. And I feel like I know Jenny and I've known her forever. And my relationship with her isn't just Beachbody. It's I'm having a bad day. It's we send each other silly, goofy pictures. And sometimes she'll send me this picture and she's like, and it totally, makes my day or whatever. So it really is about, caring about people and building relationships and friendships. And you'll really be surprised at how far those go. So keep that in mind when you're interacting with people. And, although you're part of what you're doing is maybe wanting to help them on a level of fitness or whatever, they're a person and there's so much more to you, them, and that relationship than just that piece of it. And I'm thankful every day that Jenny happened to see one of my posts about Shakeology and joined my groups because I just love her and I feel like I could reach out to her with anything that I had, going on in my life, whether it was Beachbody related or not. So build those relationships and be relatable.
Even though it took me 6 months to sign up, I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's the other thing that's really cool. I think people get discouraged when customers don't automatically sign up to be a coach. Or in Jenny's case, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. She wasn't even ordering from me. She was getting shakes from someone else. But I loved having her in my groups because really active and it was a lot of fun. And again, Jenny and I were building a relationship that was outside of Beachbody. So I'm totally okay that it took her 6 months to finally be like, hey, I want to sign up for a coach. And I was like, are you signing up with me? Because I didn't really even know at that point. So those relationships are really important. And I said a lot. And I said to Jenny, please, I hope I don't say 300 times. So let me apologize in advance for all the ums. The next thing that I wanted to talk about real quick would be kind of the importance of training groups, both ones that you guys are in and ones that you should be hosting for your own team. I'll reflect, and this will be interesting for you guys because I debated. I was like, should I bring this up or should I not? But I recently did a Push to Emerald group, and there were a bunch of coaches in that group. Like a bunch. It was pretty exciting because Emerald really is where you take that first step in your business and you're able to start earning, your bonus cycles, and you're kind of breaking out of your shell and you're starting to reach out to people and get more comfortable with those types of things. And probably 3 people participated in that group. So I understand that trainings have to be at a right time for you guys, and it has to be when you're able to commit to those. But any of the trainings that we do, we really do host all of those with you in mind, and to hopefully, be there for you and answer questions for you and help you along your journey as a coach. And the other part that comes with that is then you being able to take those tools and lead your team through trainings, whether it's a new coach training group or a push group or a social media training group. You're really going to get out of things what you put into them. So I feel like, trainings that we offer are important to your business, and hopefully they teach you to grow and then also help you lead and grow your team, because that's kind of where, the business really starts to take off, is when you're leading and you're leading your team to become leaders who are then growing their teams to be great leaders. So trainings and things like that really are important, and giving your time to that if that's what you want to do, is really advance in the business and take things to the next level. Do you guys have any questions about anything that I've talked about so far? Everyone's still awake?
Don't be shy, guys. Now's your chance to ask questions.
The next thing really is, a lot of people ask kind of, well, what made this business work for you, or what got you where you are today? And I really feel like the answer to that is very simple. And I feel like when I first started, although things have evolved a lot since then, I always felt like there's something these coaches know that I don't know, or there's some secret sauce out there that they're just not sharing yet. And there really isn't. It really boils down to you helping people, you growing your team, and then you growing your team leader so that they can duplicate the same thing that you're doing, so that you're a great leader, you're growing your team to be great leaders, and all of that just trickles down. So that's sort of the really the gist of it. It's helping people, growing your team, and helping your team lead their teams. So there's no magic sauce out there, as much as I wish I could say that there was. There aren't any tricks that any of the amazing upline coaches have or know about that we don't know about. It's really just about you being you and helping people, whether that's helping different customers or clients, or to you helping your team. So that's sort of the magic and, kind of what got me to where I am. And I would say Jenny would probably agree that that's, what's gotten her where she is today. And while I'm talking about Jenny, another misconception that I had when I first started was that, I guess I felt like, well, I can never be Brandy Botts. I could never be a Jen Richardson. I can be, and there's no difference in me as a coach, Jenny as a coach, you as a coach. And as a matter of fact, Jenny and I both are 4-star qualifying. We started qualifying the same exact day, and Jenny's one hot second from 5-star, and I'm not. So things don't stop with your upline coach. We all work together. Our teams all work together to build volume and greatness. And Nothing holds you back from going as high and as far as you want. And I really do feel like the sky is the limit. And I just want all of you to know that anything that you set your minds to doing, you totally can. And just know, like I said, that it doesn't stop here. Just because, this person is this rank or making this much money doesn't mean that you're always going to be down here or down here, because that's not the case. The sky's the limit for every one of us. So hopefully you guys, have, come to realize that and know that your true potential lies within you, and you all can do as many great things as any other coach out there who you think might be better than you or greater than you, because they're not. Nobody can be you better than you guys. So you all got this. And when Jenny outranks me, I'll be really excited and really happy for her, because it means that the time I've spent with her and the things that we've done together as a team, and you guys have done together as a team, have helped her and gotten her where she is. So I really actually look forward to that day for all of you, not just Jenny. So that was the other part. And as I'm looking at my notes here, professional development and Success Club 5 are going to be the two next things I talked about. Sometimes when things are slower, kind of like they are this month, I don't know if you guys are all feeling it, but I feel like across the board, everyone's sort of feeling like we're in a little bit of a slump and things are really slow and they're not really quite going at the pace we wish that they were. But like every business, there will be ups and downs, and there's going to be really busy weeks and months, and there's going to be slower ones. And during those slower months, I like to take time, spending time on professional development. There's always things that I could do, obviously to better myself, whether it's reading a book or honing in on some phone calls, different things like that. And I also spend some time with my team, which is why I kind of ran, I was crazy for a week or two there where I was running all kind of groups, but I took time to focus on the teams during that time frame too, because I did have just a little bit more extra time, if you want to call it that. But when things are a little bit slower, or you have a little bit more time because sales aren't out the roof, take some time to invest in you, because you're just as important as our customers. And then Success Club 5, which I want you all to know I'm not at this month. I do try to reach Success Club 5 every month. It's a goal. Because if I'm doing that, I'm helping at least 3 people a month. And when you look at that over the year time frame of how many people you've affected, I feel like 3 isn't completely out of reach. And as long as you're going back to those basic things that we've talked about before, sometimes when you've coached for a while, you kind of forget about that. Oh, let me make this dream team list, or let me look back at that list of 50 that I created, 3 months ago, and follow up with some of those that I never got around to. But I feel like, when you're hitting Success Club 5, it's 2 challenge packs, 1 HD order. It's 3 people that you're connecting with, you're building a relationship with, and you're helping. So I do strive to reach that. And usually I want to exceed it, but at the same time, don't get discouraged if you don't meet it every month, or if there's someone else who is reaching some crazy, Success Club number. It's hard sometimes not to compare yourself to other people, but again, you need to look at like you and where you're at, and just do you and do the best you, and that's all that matters. Really, none of the rest of that does. And there's the word again. The next thing that I was going to talk about real quick is just really you get out of it what you put into it. And when you get discouraged, or you feel like things aren't going the way that you want them to, or as quickly as you want, sometimes I feel like it's a good thing to stop and reflect on how you're spending your time, and if the things that you're doing are things that are leading you to those goals. And, if you're someone who, this month's a tough month, so you're like, never mind, I give up. Well, then you're not going to have a successful month, and you're not going to be reaching those new people that you wanted to reach. So you do get out of it what you put into it. And I think the other part that's important with that is just recognizing the time that you're spending, and are you working during that time, or are you just doing stuff during that time? I found that I sometimes thought I was working and really I wasn't. So just because I'm on Facebook doesn't necessarily mean that I'm working, or just because I'm on Instagram or Pinterest. If I'm not doing something Beachbody related, but I sit on Facebook for an hour, can I say that I did my power hour? Well, I can't, because I was legit just catching up on all the baby spit ups and the cute doggies and, whatever. So you do get out of it what you put into it. And when you think about why you started, when things get tough, go back to that why and think about really why you're doing this. And just like sometimes we say in our, our challenge groups or to our customers, it's like, I just had a brain fart, but just remember why you started. So if your challenger said to you, well, I didn't do my workout yesterday and I had pizza. Well, does that mean that they necessarily have to throw in the flag and give up on their journey? Absolutely not. They just need to go back and refocus on that why. So sometimes I feel like as coaches, we have to go back and think about, why we started coaching. The money part's great. And I know some of us are doing this so that we do have extra income, but probably the majority of us did this to start helping people and to make positive impact on, people's lives. So I feel like if you go back to that why and those rough spots and sometimes start focusing on the beginning again, things sort of come back around and click. So I'm looking at the clock and I think I did my 30 minutes. The last thing that I wanted to say is that I think Jenny is going to be up there this summer for a little bit, and I'm really, really excited about meeting all of you guys in person and squeezing you and just kind of reminding you just how awesome you all are and what an impact you're making on people's lives on a daily basis. So I look forward to seeing you all.
Does anybody have any questions? I have a couple I want to touch on, but I want to see if anybody else has any questions. Anyone? Taryn, anybody? Lisa, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Sorry.
It's okay.
Cyndy, you were a single mom when you first started. And
Yes.
I just wondered how that translated. Like, I know a lot of people depend on their spouse's income to kind of help support their families while they're building their business. And I wondered how you managed that with being a single mom.
That's a really good question. I'll be honest with you guys for just a second. It isn't something that I talk about often, but I was actually a single mom on food stamps. It isn't easy being a single parent. Luckily, I have two amazing kids who, when we pulled up to the Wendy's drive-thru, they knew they had to order off of the 99-cent menu, and they knew they got 2 items. Which some people will probably laugh at and think is crazy. But what I did was I actually started coaching for the discount because I loved Beachbody and their products. And so what I did for that initial fee that that we have is I took money out of my grocery money and use that for my $100 Shakeology fee or whatever, however you want to look at it. And as far as the $15 overhead, when I was working full time, I was spending almost that much in tolls, and I never calculated like how much it was with gas and tolls, but $15 for a business fee to have the crazy potential that we have in this business was really something that I looked at as like just a non-negotiable. It wasn't important. It was $15. And so that's kind of how I afforded Beachbody in the beginning. But let me know, is there something more? Do you mean about growing my team?
Sorry. No, just about like how you committed the time being a full-time single mom, and then when did you when did you, or do you still work full time, or did you ever stop and become a full-time coach?
Okay. Yep.
Time.
Yep. So I started with a power hour, and I think power hours are extremely important. But the thing I had to do with my power hour was I had to break it up, because I couldn't spend one full hour in the evening, because you all know, you get home and then your kids are hungry and they have practice and this and that. So I would actually get up, and I am not a morning person, oh my goodness, but I would get up, oh my God, it was like 5:30 or something ridiculous. So I could get my workout in before work, and I could get my initial posts done the morning before I went for work. I didn't check in again on Facebook until lunchtime. And that was when I would kind of catch up on things. And then after work, I would come home and I would designate 30 to 45 minutes to working my Beachbody business. And a lot of times I feel like you can do that stuff without necessarily taking away from your family. If I'm in the living room and we're watching TV, it isn't necessarily a terrible thing if I am on the laptop kind of multitasking, I guess you would call it. And the other thing is that, my kids were a little bit older, so they weren't in diapers anymore and they could go fix their own drink. But don't mistake that for me not having to be a mom, because even to this day, now they're grown and out of the house, and your kids always need you. And there's different things that you're always constantly doing for your kids. But I really had to get my planner, and I legitimately booked the times that I was doing things and what I was doing during that time, so that I didn't feel like I was, like I said, working when I wasn't really working. So if I'm on social media, it doesn't really mean that I'm working if I'm not doing things on my to-do list. The second part to that is I'm very happy to say that I do not work any longer. I worked for the education field for over 17 years. And I think I left Beachbody at about a year and a half. It took me longer than it did Jenny. But I left when I was making $1,000 a week, because that was like I'm okay leaving my full-time job when I get here. And that's what I did. And I, as ridiculous as this sounds, and am now a 6-figure earner with Beachbody, which is another reason why I know you all can do this, because I've been in a lot of the same places that you all are or have been. And if you want this to work for you and you work for it, then it will. And I'm happy to talk to any of you guys anytime if you have other questions about sort of what that looked like, or things that I did to help make that happen for me. It's amazing, you guys. And you guys, like I said, can exceed me, can exceed Jenny. Where I was, I'll be honest with you, I was making like $45,000 a year, something like that. And for me, that was good, because I don't have a college degree. I was a teenage mother. I was 18 when I had my daughter. I got pregnant my senior year of high school. And I'll tell you the truth. I didn't really ever think and this is almost a little bit sad, could amount to as much as my brothers or my sisters or other people, because I never had that paper or that degree that could show my worth. And that's the other thing about Beachbody is we're all the same, and no one's going to look down on me and say, what, you got pregnant when I was 17. You got pregnant when you were 17 years old and you didn't go to college. Well, you can't work here. So that's sort of how it worked for me. And I just wanted to say that you all can do those same things too. And it can be a little bit hard at times, but push through. It is so worth it.
We have about 10 minutes left. I just got a notification, so just letting everybody know. Does anybody else have a question? No? All right. I have a quick one that I just want you to touch on. Can your volume and, the money, the cycle money from your volume?
Yep. So what I'd like to do is, Jenny, have you send me a list of everyone that was on the call, and let me email some of that out, because it would take me a little bit longer to go through my earnings and tell you. But it was really, Diamond is sort of where magic starts to happen. So if you're not a Diamond coach, it definitely should be a goal of yours And the other thing that I was able to do, because I familiarized myself with the compensation plan, was I was able to really hone in on how to maximize my earnings. And I want you all to know that rank does not define you. I was a 1-star coach forever. I don't even know how long it was. It was crazy. But I was out earning 5-star coaches, 6-star coaches, 7-star coaches, coaches who had been coaches longer than me. But I went about my business money first because that was what I had to do as a single mom. So I would like to share a little bit about that too, Jenny. So if you can send me that list, I would love to share a little bit of information with you guys about that whole picture. Growing your team also comes into play with that, because the more coaches you have in your downline, and you can see your total downline on your main team Beachbody page, as that number grows, so does all of your volume, because all of those coaches are helping your volume. We all help each other. So focusing on growing that team, growing leaders, and them learning to lead and grow their team is substantial.
100%.
Yep.
All right. I had another question and I wrote it down and I don't know where I put it.
No one else has a question for me except Jenny.
Somebody.
Jenny asks me questions all day long. Can I hear from somebody else?
No one? I see you all on here.
They're probably asleep because I talked so long.
No. It's killing me that I can't remember the question. We still have 7 minutes. I want to ask a question.
Find it. Listen.
I have a question.
Okay.
Sorry, it's Andrea. I don't know how to make my video work now that I made it not work.
That's okay.
So I'm at the same point. I'm no SC points this month. I haven't for the past couple of months. What is, I guess not an easy way, but how do you go about hitting that goal when all of the leads that you have kind of are ignoring you or not responding, and it takes time to build up those relationships with people to get to the point where you can.
So are you doing some of the things that I know you guys kind of separated off from some of the things I do with other coaches on my team, but are you doing some of those things like the free healthy eating groups and the 5, 6, or 7 day Shakeology groups, where they're less expensive and people get to try, Shakeology without committing? Are you guys doing some of those things too?
Yep. All of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I would say we go back to the basics and we start with new names. If you guys knew how many times I create, check names off of lists, I do it as often as I tell other coaches too. So I think it's time to kind of put on your thinking cap, go back to customers who had talked to you before but never committed, go back and think through friends who have talked about going to the gym or losing weight or having babies. I think a lot of times in tough situations like this, it's just about going back to the basics. And what did you do when you started, when you didn't have any leads?
Gotta find them. Oh, there you are.
Yes. Yeah, I think in the beginning it was different for me because people were wanting to support me because it was new and they just wanted to be supportive. But now that I've been doing it for a few months, people are like, oh, it's expensive. You're doing great. You don't need my help. And I'm like, but I do.
Yeah. So one thing about that is don't let that discourage you, because people do watch you for a long time, even other people than those that just wanted to encourage you on your journey. I've been coaching for 2 years and I am still shocked at the people who will just now reach out to me and say, okay, now I'm ready to buy this program, or now I'm ready to try Shakeology. So that kind of goes back to that, being consistent part. So make sure that you stay consistent and you keep doing those same things that you were doing in the beginning, because people are watching you.
Definitely watching.
Thank you.
Definitely just go back to, anyone that you spoke to when you first started that, like Cyndy said, never committed, go back and make a list of, 5 people that you had talked to and reach back out and, offer even a 5-day supply or something and, try and get them to get on board. We have 4
Yeah.
minutes. Sorry, go ahead, Andrea.
No, I was just going to say, I have people interested this time in the 5-day Shakeology group, but that's always so hit or miss for me that I
Yeah.
just never knew. But hopefully that will pan out to something.
Yeah, people will keep watching you, and like I said, I'm shocked sometimes, and some of these people are my good friends. And I'm like, what the heck? You didn't trust me like 2 years ago when I was talking about it. But a lot of it is watching you and trusting you and knowing you and believing in what you're doing and watching your progress, and then some of it's timing.
Yes, definitely. Anybody else? I can't remember my question, so I'm sorry.
What about Kim? Kim's so quiet over there.
She's always quiet.
Come on, Kim. She's like, yeah,
No.
nope, don't got anything.
All right, I think we can wrap it up then if nobody else has a question.
All right, and I will send you guys a little timeline because I do think it will be important for you to see how the numbers in my downline changed, how that affected my volume, and then how that correlated to my income. And I have no problem at all sharing that with you guys.
You want to share what you make weekly now?
A lot. Listen, Mike was like, you know what? I'm pretty close to retiring. I make like about $4,000 usually. It varies. I maximized every ounce of my volume, and I took advantage of every penny that I had in rollover volume. So that's where I try to say, you know, rank isn't always important, and knowing your volume and understanding how that equates to money for you, it's really money.
Cyndy, that was one question I did have is can you email me information on the rollover volume? Because I don't understand how that all comes into play. And I remember like a year ago when I started, we sort of talked about this and I don't remember anymore.
Yep. What I'll do, Kim, is email you because I'm going to need to ask you a couple of other questions. And I would love to look at your business center and give you an idea of what I would do if it were my business center. And I can promise you all 1,000% that anything I say I would do in your business center is just that. It's exactly what I would do. I would say that I'm probably, and I don't know for sure, but one of the only coaches who really has taken advantage of the knowledge of understanding volume. And it's crucial. At least it was for me. I had to make money.
Yeah. Can you just give us a little timeline? This time last year, do you remember roughly what you were making a week?
What month is this? It was, I think it may have been around $500 a week.
And you see that, guys, 500 to 4,000.
Yeah, the reason I remember that is because I just had dinner with Angel the other night, and her husband is very anti-Beachbody, and I remembered saying to him, gosh, I make $500 a week. And I said to her at dinner, I was like, if he were sitting here at dinner and I told him what I was making right now, he might like chill out a little bit and trust the process.
Yeah.
And you know,
like 30 seconds, just giving you a heads up.
Okay, I love you all. I can't wait to meet you.
All right, thank you, Cyndy.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.